Welcome to Self-Improvement Academy. Grow yourself every day with KOKOSHUNGSAN. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for the latest updates. If you like it, please like, share it, and leave comments. Thanks for your support and for helping us make the world a better place. How to relieve stress and anxiety. Manage your stress now. Stress has become a part and parcel of our lives at present. Try as we might, we cannot keep it away from us. But this stress can sap at our very innards and make our lives meaningless and quite redundant. We need to understand how to enrich our lives by keeping the stress away. Here are some ways we can do that. Chapter 1. What is stress? Is it uniform all through the human race, in all people, across geographical boundaries and time? What is stress? Can stress be defined? Stress is probably one of the terms that are bandied about the most in the 21st century, but people know about it the least. Though almost everyone says that they are stressed out, they cannot actually define stress. So, what's the definition anyway? The Cambridge Dictionary, International Edition, defines stress as great worry caused by a difficult situation or something which causes this condition. The Oxford Dictionary defines it as pressure or worry resulting from mental or physical distress, difficult circumstances, etc. From these definitions, we can arrive at this: when there is some situation or circumstance in our lives that we find difficult to cope with, the resulting condition in our mind is known as stress. When we are stressed, we find it very difficult to rationalize our circumstances. In most people, it has been observed that stress can totally exhaust their mental potential to think. Even if there is a way out of their predicament, because of the stress, they will fail to see it. This is what makes the stressful situation worse. The problem is that when you have stress playing in your mind, the one sure way to remove it is to eliminate the circumstance that has caused it. But in many people, when stress begins to play on their minds, they are quite unable to think, and so they do not understand what they must do to eliminate the cause. This worsens their stress. The rising competition has given rise to workplace stress. In the 21st century, we find that stress has become quite commonplace. Most people carry their work home and can never come out of it, even when they are home with their families. Everyone is in high tempers, even within families, which gives rise to domestic stress. In addition, increasing costs, rising pollution, ever-growing traffic, etc., all contribute to stress in their own way. The problem is that we cannot see the solution from these situations because we are so deeply entrenched in trying to cope with the problem. This is a global situation today. Even the string pullers of society in whom we have entrusted the power to remedy such situations are stressed out, and even they cannot come up with viable answers. Stress could very well place itself among the top 3 problems of the current century. If we do not take steps to eradicate it as soon as possible, it will consume us much before global warming and its correlate can. The best thing is that though stress is a collective problem, we can work individually at eliminating it. Becoming stress-free is largely in our hands. Chapter 2. The basic rules for coping with stress. We can remove stress completely from our lives, like so many famous people we know have done. All we need is to abide by the right principles. The basic rules for coping with stress. Stress can be too difficult on you, and it could become one of the most important aspects that govern your life. Today there are several stress management courses all around, and all of them are working at teaching people how to overcome stress. However, you don't need these courses, if you know that you can beat stress by making some small but significant adjustments in your life. Speaking about stress management, it actually boils down to just 7 important rules. If you learn to incorporate them in your daily life, you will find that you can stay without stress forever. Rule 1. Improving your perspective. A lot of stress is generated by the way we look at things. Take the classic cliché of a glass that has half its capacity of wine. People who have learnt to deal with stress will look at the wine that occupies half the glass and will be content with it. But people who make stress a part and parcel of their lives will look at the half-empty portion of the glass and will stress themselves about thinking about what isn't there. If you could improve your perspective and focus on what you have rather than what you don't, you could conquer stress in a very emphatic manner. Rule 2. Don't overexert yourself. Taking up more than you can handle is a sure way of stressing yourself up. This is a major component of workplace stress today. People set unrealistic deadlines for themselves and take more work than they can manage in a bid to earn more money. But the result, they lose out on the work and their health as well. Rule 3. Learn to put the leash on circumstances. Ups and downs happen in everyone's lives, but people's reactions to them are different. Some of them would be stoic about changing circumstances while others would get totally worked up. People who learn how to put the leash on their circumstances can largely control their lives, and hence they can remain happier in life. Rule 4. Don't go for the extremes. Extremes must be avoided in anything. Don't take too much work or too little of it. Don't be too greedy and don't be too generous either. Don't eat too much and don't starve yourself. Don't think too highly of yourself and don't condemn yourself too much either. When you place yourself on the middle path, you will be much happier. Rule 5. Learn to avoid a lot of people who are stressed out to the max are so because they don't know how to say a simple monosyllabic word when the time comes, no. That is the reason they fall into the trap of doing things they should have avoided in the first place. They get into friendships they didn't want, they commit to relationships they think they shouldn't have, they take work they can't manage. This is what builds stress up to a very great degree. Rule 6. Relaxation techniques work much more effectively than you think. Something as simple as the correct breathing exercise can make you liberated from your stress. Rule 7. Prioritize. If you have several tasks to do, learn to prioritize. Learn to understand how important any task is and accomplish accordingly. This helps you in managing your life optimally and you can do very well at keeping stress away. Click link below to learn more. Learn more at uni24x7.com. KOKOSHUNGSAN pays you to have fun. KOKOSHUNGSAN.net